This week's episode brought to you by Jesse's team.
Hey all, let's talk about Jesse's team. Here at Jesse's team, we specialize in the export business. Some people wonder if we do imports as well, but we don't. However, we will take your garbage and dispose of it properly if you want us to. Remember our motto, no export is too big for Jesse's team. So come shop and tell us what you want. We'll be waiting.
Good morning, everyone from Korea, and good evening, everyone from the local United States area. I'm your host, Neil Blakemore, for the episode 10 of About That Podcast. With me, as always, Mr. Luis Cruz. How are we doing today?
Good morning, sir, and good evening for me, like you said. I am glad that we're here. I see you're enjoying your coffee, probably a little bit of Irish coffee.
Well, absolutely. And you see, I got the suit on. I started my new job this week. So I somewhat look presentable for the first week, so they don't just initially get rid of me because I don't know what I'm doing. Monica had the same thing. I fooled her for 10 years.
Yeah, so let's dive right into the scores for the week. We'll see what happened in our league. Okay, we have the Lucho Maniacs with 116 points versus the Brady Bunch with 98. We have the Brewery with 131 versus above average Ditkas with 115. We have Metropolis Shark with 114 versus Star Nation with 89. We have Canadian Tiger with 90 points versus Casa with 110. We have Mata Italia versus Haitian Killer. Haitian Killer won that one, 139 to 115. Then you have Teen Hialeah Mafia with 112 versus the Fancies with 111.9, which leads us to the standings. We are like this. We have Haitian Killer number 1 with 7 wins and 1 loss. We have Tar Nation, Metropolis Sharks, The Brewery, and Teen Hialeah Mafia all tied on the second place with 5 wins and 3 losses. Then you have the Brady Bunch, the Fancies, and Team Casa, all of them with an even 500 with 4 wins and 4 losses. Then you have the Lucho Maniacs with 3 wins and 5 losses. And then on the bottom part, you have Mata Italia, above average Ditkas, and Canadian Tiger, 2 wins and 6 losses. Rankings. We have the rankings. It's a little bit of a switch. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But it's above average Ditkas, the Fancies, Brewery, Lucho Maniacs, Brady's Bunch, Tar Nation, Team Hialeah Mafia, Mata Italia, Metropolis Sharks, then Team Haitian Killer, Canadian Tiger, and then Team Casa. So that is it. That is the current status of our thing that we do every week. So
well, it looks like the status of the rankings is just chaotic, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's if you just probably switched above average Dickas and Haitian Killer, it might be more on point. It's hilarious. The above average Dickas is number 1.
Yeah.
When he has two wins.
Yeah.
And granted, when we did our pretenders and contenders segment, I had above average Dickas as one of the contenders. I still believe that as far as being a team that you don't want to play. He puts up a lot of points at times. However, his record with 5 losses already, it's going to be difficult for him to kind of climb out of the basement. On the other hand, Ricardo already with 7 wins. He lost a big component to his team, Derrick Henry. However, with that 7 wins, I think he's still a lock to make one of the playoff spots because he had such a great first half of the season. So it's just a weird standings to me. I don't know who's doing the algorithm. It might be somebody in Paraguay or looking into it.
Yeah, no. If it was a Paraguayan algorithm, they probably would have to have some Ronaldos and Messis there for them to understand what's happening. Actually, anecdote. I did play fantasy football once with a bunch of Paraguayans. It was the year that I had like 4 leagues or something like that. I got my ass kicked. So
Yeah. Well,
nothing
sometimes
nothing new
sometimes
there.
being yeah, sometimes being knowledgeable on a subject, sometimes you luck into a few wins at Cass out, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Hialeah Mafia has been talking about how he's team. Talk about my team. Talk about my team.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So yeah, he's good. He's okay. Is that
Uh,
enough? Do we have to
is that what he
go?
wanted?
I think so. I think that
Yeah.
that's about it,
Yeah.
right?
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's
Let's
move
move
on.
on.
Because I mean
Uh,
the biggest news is Derrick Henry just like being completely gone for the season. And this is a guy who looked invincible and who was making Ricardo's team almost invincible as well. So that is definitely a big loss for him. We did hear his message, and he got Adrian Peterson, which if you rewind the clock a few years back, if somebody said, "Oh my God, I got Adrian Peterson," people would have been losing their minds getting Adrian Peterson from the waivers. But times move, the time moves, and he's no longer the Adrian
time
Peterson of old.
time does move, and just take out the name Adrian Peterson. If you said, "Oh man, I just signed this guy who's been out of football for a year. He just came off the practice squad because this main star got injured,
36
so
year
they
old.
moved him up to 36." I forgot, and he's going to compete for one of the starting jobs in a running back committee situation. Are you jumping on that guy? I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
probably not. Now, talking about injuries, I wanted to mention Casso because he did sort of write in the chat, and I was looking at his team. So it's this Casso, is he playing fantasy football or hospital fantasy hospital? I don't know what you would call that
Well,
because his team is full of injured people with COVID. Like it's just like he just collects broken men.
Well, he has the free healthcare with Medicare, right?
Got it.
In his age bracket, so he might get a little extra reward for all those injured players. But yes, he
Got it.
is racking up some injuries, trying to get the deductible low as he can. Aaron Rodgers, his most recent victim with COVID when they played me. Now, I will say I'm not mad at it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, like I
because I'm
said
playing
last
him this
week,
week, right?
can I
But
play Casa again?
how
Like, can that be a thing?
absolutely. But with that said, like sometimes you don't want that pressure. Well, like it's okay, but you don't want that pressure because I don't want to lose to him, right? I got a full squad except for a couple of bye guys, and
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just don't want to lose to the guy. But hey, shit happens, man.
yeah. And before we continue talking about our other league mates and stuff like that, I wanted to congratulate Canadian Tiger on winning Halloween week, the most defensive points of the week. So that's
That's
the second in a row for him.
yeah, that's right. I thought you were going to congratulate him on barely breaking 90 finally. His team is uh, not good, and somehow he is stacking up the money at this point. He's got $40 into a $60 buy-in league, so he's almost at a free roll at this point, which is good for him because again he is struggling pretty mightily. But he is on the waiver. He was the number one pick and picked up the running back from Tennessee, not the old man River, but the young man. So he's active on it. He's playing.
Yeah, I mean, which leads me to another thing. I mean, we have people like Steve who play, not very active in the chat. You have I like Castle this season. He's been throwing some digs my way and another way. I see that Ricardo lost Derrick Henry and finally showed up in the chat.
Finally showed up. He's worried.
You know, I think Rob has gone a little silent, because his team started to, be a little bit shaky. So now it's like,
Has he dare I say pulled a Q? I don't know. He
yeah, I don't
started
know.
off
I mean,
hot,
because
talking.
Q it's gone as always. Like Q is like it's like spring in the or like autumn, I guess, like in the Northeast where he's from in Boston. It just lasts like a little, it's like a week, and then autumn is gone,
Yeah.
it's winter and done.
I hear you,
So
but he is still active on the the waivers and playing. So he actually has a pretty tough team, I think, even though he barely didn't squeak by with 100 points this week. But I think that's an anomaly. I think he's got a good team.
Yeah, but the ones that I miss are the girls, just because Monica did actually, I think,
Sure you
made
do.
fun of me, which, you know, I apparently people like making fun of me, which is great. I actually
Yeah,
do like that.
it's easy target.
Yeah, exactly. Kick people when they're down. That's their motto. Apparently, that's the motto of our league. You know, when somebody's
Hey,
down,
American dream, baby.
you know,
The American dream.
you're mixing coffee and juice. Like,
It's morning time. You miss me eating my oatmeal.
So, but where's Stacy, man? Remember Stacy? She used to do videos. She used to like trash
Let me
talk.
see.
Like she's like
Stacy.
this
Stacy.
girl who we used to work with. You know, I don't know if it's I don't know what's happening. She's gone. She disappeared. So somebody knows where she
You know
is.
what? I do remember her. I do remember her vaguely. I remember vaguely. I think she even won one year. And I remember her. She won a year. I sent her the nice trophy, and she's just too good for the league now and doesn't even post any pictures of it.
That's what it
Took her a
is.
year to post it, and now this league, she's
You know,
kind of out of it.
Stacy. Then we can say Stacy. It's like that dude trying to get the chick. He gets the chick, if you know what I mean, and then doesn't call her back. That's it, gone. So that's what she did to her league. She won it one year, and then she's done. Like it's like she's on to other things. I hear she's gonna play fantasy hockey right now. You know, she's looking for.
I don't know what the other thing would be. Raising a child, maybe, but that doesn't take much.
No, I mean you've did it, so.
Well, I think so. I think, yeah. So far.
Yeah. So that shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, but and then going back to the Cassow's hospital bills that he's got there. I think just all over the league, if somebody listened to last week's and our sponsor really took over the Grim Reaper there, got Derrick Henry, got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it was a serious ad, and it's coming.
I mean, he got, and this is, I guess, a little more of a serious note, but he got Calvin Ridley as well, which, you know, I don't know what's wrong with the dude. I hope he's okay. He said it's personal reasons, so mental reasons. So, you know, it's we play all these games and we kind of make these jokes, right? But it's people, you know, at the end of the day. So it's a little bit sad. I'm not gonna lie though, I kind of like you know, it worked out for us when it comes to Ricardo, you know. I hope Derrick Henry comes back, right, and come back strong. Just not this season. Yeah,
not this season. And I will say, yeah, you don't people at full strength's great, but yeah, it worked out for the whole league just because he has those 7 wins. Yeah. It kind of brings him back down to somewhat of a beatable status, and I'm sure he's loving us mentioning that his team was probably unbeatable at this point. We needed that. The whole league did, because he was sailing.
But I believe that is it, Commissioner. Do you have anything else for our listeners this week?
I don't. Let's take a look at this coming up week's matchups. Let's pick a kind of a feature and see our guests on it, what we think here. Okay. So
yeah, let me
this week
let me pull that up really quick. Let's see what we have.
Pull it up. Yeah, I got it here.
Okay, so what we have here are Sharks and Luchomanians, Canadian Tiger and Haitian Killer, Team Casa and the Brewery. You have Above Average Dickas and Hialeah Mafia, Tar Nation versus the Fancies, Brady's Bunch, and Mata Italia. That's what we have.
Okay. With that, I will say let's put a spotlight on Haitian Killer and Canadian Tiger, only because it's kind of the worst versus the best, and some things got shaken up there, right? Like Derrick Henry's gone, he got the new running back. Canadian Tiger's struggling to put up points, so Haitian Killer does get a favorable matchup, losing his main guy with Canadian Tiger, but we'll see if they can get that win. Right now, I don't know if he has all his guys in, but it looks like Haitian or Canadian Tiger is projected to win, but I don't know if he's put a guy in yet. So no, he's got 2 buys, so I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. So my matchup for the Sharks. I noticed he doesn't have a quarterback in yet. My understanding is the rule is if he doesn't have one by today at 8:30, he cannot have a quarterback then, right? Like he's done. He plays with.
Well, I'm new to that rule. But there's not one in stone. So if you want to put that in Paraguayan style, you go right ahead.
Yeah, but let's do that. Let's just do that.
Done.
Yeah, so because we'll see what happens with the rest of the league. Remember, 6 teams make the playoffs this season, so keep fighting because it is not done yet.
All right, guys, work the waiver like Cruz said, and we will see you next week, guys. Good luck to you.
Good luck, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.